There has been good news circulating around Kay Flock's court case that hints towards his official release date, as Kay Flock would release a message to his fans from his jail cell.
I know what's going on, man. Flock, I know something, man. Like, free me to the guys, man. And yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, bro. Like, get money.
Now this relates to what Kay Flock's best friend B-Love said during a recent interview with No Jumper. He would go on to reveal that there is so many things happening in Kay Flock's case that no one even knows about, as well as what Kay Flock's lawyers are doing behind the scenes on working on an early release date for the New York rapper.
Okay, but so I saw some fans who were off at both me and academics after Kay Flock got locked up because, well, just because I guess, like, you know, in our tone when we talked about it, you know, it might have seemed like we were being a little too presumptuous. But is that weird for you? Because I'm sure you see people all the way from rappers to whoever acting like, you know, your boy is just done and he's cooked in this situation.
I ain't gonna lie, people, especially people that don't even be knowing, like, y'all don't even know what's going on, bro. Yeah.
As fans around the world are starting to get the sense that Kay Flock's lawyers are trying to get him out of jail as fast as they can for one specific reason. It begins with the newest court files that goes and reads, on December 23rd, 2021, New York rapper Kay Flock, otherwise known as Kevin Perez, was involved in a situation leading to the passing of a man named Oscar Hernandez. On December 23rd, Kevin Perez, aka Kay Flock, was walking down the street in New York City. Kay Flock is seen on surveillance footage walking past a barber shop with two other individuals, one being identified as Kay Flock's sister. Kay Flock is seen wearing the blue coat as well as a shiesty mask as well. While walking past the barber shop, Kay Flock is seen locking in eyes with somebody that is standing inside of the barber shop, with that man being Oscar Hernandez. Whether the two knew each other from ongoing street-related things, or if the two just locked eyes and then had instant beef with each other, whatever it was, it all resulted in a very bad incident where Oscar Hernandez would quickly run out of the barbershop, then yelling at Kay Flock in the middle of the street saying, "What are you looking at?" A small argument then brewed up between the two in the street. Very recently, Kay Flock's lawyers would basically confirm that Oscar Hernandez would then begin grabbing at his waistband, trying to scare Kay Flock into thinking that he has a firearm on him. But little did Oscar Hernandez know that Kay Flock actually did have a firearm on him. So when Oscar Hernandez reached at his firearm trying to get Kay Flock to flinch, Kay Flock then actually pulled out his firearm from his waistband. When Flock was reaching for it, Hernandez turned. He tried running into a store that is located beside the barbershop. However, Kay Flock began using his firearm in what he thought was self-defense, as Oscar made the initial move of reaching for a firearm that he didn't even have. Kay Flock would end up connecting him with his firearm. All that was left at the scene of the crime was shell casings, as well as Oscar's slides that he was wearing. Now, the case was cold for 24 hours. No one even fully understood what happened or who even committed the crime, as Shiesty was wearing a mask. This was, however, until the NYPD tweeted a photo of the main suspect, asking for help from the public, where fans online would begin to immediately know that it was Kay Flock. 2 hours before the crime, Kay Flock actually was flexing this exact designer outfit on Instagram Live. The NYPD then put out a warrant for Kay Flock's arrest, which immediately resulted in Flock hiring the best lawyer in New York City. Then the two would then walk into the NYPD 30th precinct together, where Kay Flock would then turn himself in. His lawyer would then release this statement: "I accompanied Kay Flock as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were immediately made with the NYPD once I learned that he was wanted. As to the charges against him, we have begun our own investigation into the allegations." More importantly, considering the DA's significant disclosure this morning that the NYPD received a tip saying that somebody else was the hitter, we demanded the DA's office to provide disclosure of the videos referenced in the complaint and more information on the tip. We will address bail once we have had a chance to review the case and we can further investigate. With it being over a year since Kay Flock's lawyers released that statement, I can confidently say the person that gave the NYPD the tip that somebody else was the hitter and not Kay Flock was actually a New York drill rapper fan that ended up trolling the NYPD. Kay Flock's lawyers were already aware of it, but then they went out with a new statement where they would truly believe that Kay Flock was acting in self-defense, and they would confirm it on the live news.
When the guy hits the ground, and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. You know, we consider that to be self-defense.
So he did heat them in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. You know, I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case,
Okay.
but the government claims that he pulled the. But at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a illegal loaded, apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
You know,
of the case.
that could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear he's going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get, or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the.
After Kay Flock's lawyers released that statement, the NYPD would then release their own. The NYPD believed the incident was street-related based on Kay Flock's documented affiliation with the Bronx-based Third Side Street team. It was documented that Kay Flock was heavily involved in street-related acts within the time of the crime, so him being a big-name figure inside of New York City, he had lots of control on situations, as well as being a main target that his ops would retaliate against. However, that actually works in Kay Flock's favor, and his lawyers are convinced and are even making the claim the situation was an act of self-defense due to so many ops wanting to retaliate against Kay Flock. Now, Kay Flock's lawyers are putting out positive evidence that they could beat this case, as even rappers would begin reacting.
What's it like for you watching the Kay Flock thing happen? That's crazy. Next big artist coming out of New York.
I love Flock, so I like that. I like that. That's my guy.
Okay.
But you know, I'm wishing him the best right now, you know what I'm saying? And you know, for the alleged charges they pushing on him, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing his family the best. I'm wishing the whole team the best and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I hope he beat them alleged charges, you know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of future brightness he got, and I hope, you know what I'm saying, everything just wake all the young kids up. Like how fat it just,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a sad story if that's the end of the.
No, we ain't gonna think like that, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay positive.
As once things were looking amazing for Kay Flock, his lawyers were building up enough evidence to prove that it was self-defense. It would then be announced the following day, Bronx drill rapper Kay Flock was just indicted by a federal grand jury for a bunch of new racketeering conspiracy charges, also known as RICO. This had hip-hop creators reacting, Kay Flock just caught a RICO, it's really over. Academics even said, the feds just unsealed an indictment on Kay Flock for a RICO charge. The minimum mandatory if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life inside a prison. He is still facing state charges that has him locked up. Pray for him. Now this relates perfectly to what Boosie said about YNW Melly. Right when Kay Flock was about to submit evidence proving that it was self-defense to beat the case, the feds come out of nowhere and then charge him with RICO.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah. They could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen, really.
This entire situation honestly makes it feel like the police department are corrupt. Kay Flock should be released from jail by now. Even his lawyers agree, as they would end up reacting to the new RICO charge, sharing, "We are not surprised by the federal charges, as we have been defending Kevin's state charges for over a year now. Considering the incident was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't a particularly strong charge, but now that it is being used as a basis point for a possible penalty charge is extraordinary." On video, it is crystal clear that Kevin was about to be affected after attempting to walk away from the other person. Only then did Kevin use an item to defend himself and another from an armed team member who was about to pull a firearm from out of his pocket. Now, if this wasn't enough to prove to you that they're going to do anything to keep Kay Flock inside of jail, academics would go on and tweet, Kay Flock's co-defendant Sticky says, the police came to him asking him to snitch on Kay Flock, and he told them, no, I'll see you in 30 years. years, sharing this Instagram photo with Sticky and Kay Flock on the street in New York City, along with a caption of, "We did stuff at RL together. I guess we gotta defend our freedom against these people together as well. It's all fun and games until the people come. They said, tell us about Kevin, help yourself, 30 years is a long time. Well, I guess I'll see y'all in 30 years. Which it is nice to know that his best friend is gonna hold it down for him, but what you need to remember is there was 30 people indicted on this RICO charge. The odds of 30 people staying loyal to Kay Flock and not taking the 30-year charge is very, very low.